Welcome to Believers Talk with Joe and Steve. I'm Joe.
I'm Steve.
And we are here today to talk to you about a very controversial topic, one that's been surrounding the Bills for about 2 years now. What are we going to do at quarterback? Currently, our quarterback is Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah. Nate Peterman, the backup.
Nate Peterman, backup. And we have Joe Webb as our third string, right? And as of... What's the date that we owe Tyrod his $6 million?
The 16th.
The 16th.
At 4 p.m. we got to figure out if we want to pay him the $6 million bonus.
Right.
Or let him go and just eat $2 million.
Right. Yeah. This time we currently only owe Tyrod Taylor $2 million. His full contract is $18 million.
Yep.
However, as of March 16th, we can choose whether or not to pay him that $6 million. So, what are your initial thoughts on the quarterback position currently?
All right. So, me breaking down Tyrod Taylor, what I like and I dislike.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrod, love his ability as far as his arm strength.
Yep.
Be able to move around. He's a mobile quarterback. I like that. He does have good leadership.
Yeah.
I believe. He's a hard worker. Seems like a really nice guy. Okay. The downside, what I don't like about him, there's no anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
His accuracy is not that good.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really make simple plays too. Misses a lot of simple plays that quarterbacks should make.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the knock on him, and especially here, this is what scares me a little bit too. Last year he got 2 concussions.
Right.
So little leery. Once you start getting 1,
Yep.
2, especially as a quarterback, you get kind of a little gun shy.
Yeah.
And I believe he is a little gun shy now. He's looking to move a little more with his feet than with the throwing the ball.
Yeah, if you've watched these videos the whole way through, at the beginning of these videos, I said that I was on the fence about Tyrod.
Yeah.
And as I've looked into it more and more, we need to move on from Tyrod Taylor. Like you said, his anticipation's not there. The fact that teams' defenses can really go, like, we're a running team, and the fact that defenses can be prepared for that and not really fear the deep threat or anything like that, that's a problem. And as you mentioned in the Saints game, which you were at the Saints game, there were a lot of open receivers downfield that he just wasn't going to.
Benjamin could have had a field day.
Yeah.
He was running open all day.
So
just couldn't get him the ball.
And it's not just the Saints game. I mean, if you look at film, other places, we've mentioned about certain plays that we thought he could have done better. And so we know that there's a lot of Tyrod lovers out there, and we love his hard work, and we love his determination and his leadership skills. But yeah, it's time to move on. And I don't even blame him when the news report came out saying that he wasn't going to take a pay cut.
No, he took a pay cut last year, and he really helped him out.
Right.
And the past couple of years, he's been on 1-year prove-it deals, so I understand that.
Absolutely.
But where I'm at with him is with his salary being $18 million.
Yeah.
That is a crazy number to pay him because I don't believe he's a starting quarterback.
Right.
If he was our backup and we had to pay him $4, maybe $5 million at most, I would be okay with him staying on the roster.
Sure.
But either way, he's getting $8 million guaranteed if it goes to the March 16th deadline.
Yeah.
And I don't believe he's worth it. So to me, I'm ready to move on, start a new chapter. I liked him when he first came in in 14, and he just kind of regressed each year. So.
Yeah, I mean, again, looking back to 14, him compared to E.J. Manuel, it was an obvious choice, I think.
15, sorry.
Okay, 15, yeah. Looking back to 15, him versus E.J. Manuel, probably the only good decision Rick Schrein ever made on our team was to go from E.J. Manuel to Tyrod Taylor. But yeah, I think his first year was probably his best year. If you look at the stats, they kind of back that up.
Yep.
So now, if we get rid of Tyrod, you're looking at Nathan Peterman, Joe Webb. So I personally think Nathan Peterman deserves, like, obviously he's on his rookie contract, right? So we're not going to get rid of Nathan Peterman anytime soon. And Joe Webb's a free agent.
Yeah.
So what do we do from here, Steve?
Right.
Where do we go?
Well, I don't know if you want me to read down the list of free agent names or just name what I think they should go. If you want me to say what
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I think they should go.
Yeah, I mean, we know that, like, the free agent names out there, we know Drew Brees is getting signed, right?
Yeah.
Like, Drew Brees is not going to be available. We're not in the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes.
We don't have a cap
right.
to...
So maybe go through some names on this list that we could potentially get. Yeah.
First one that comes to mind,
Mm-hmm.
Josh McCown.
Okay.
Veteran quarterback,
Yep.
can come in, tutor a young guy.
Sure.
Really like him. I like kind of what he did in Cleveland. He's bounced around a lot, so he's went through a lot of different spots, and he's had his ups and downs.
Right.
So I like what he did in Cleveland with the Jets last year. There wasn't much around him.
Yeah.
Good pocket passer, could really benefit us.
Yeah.
That'd be my first. Chad Henne would be another name.
Mm-hmm.
Pops up. He was under Duval,
Yeah.
offensive coordinator at Miami.
Right.
So he knows the system.
Right.
So that could be a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Matt Moore.
Mm-hmm.
He was there in Miami.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think we can get him pretty cheap. Another name that pops in mind, Derek Anderson.
He's been around for a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a free agent this year. He was a free agent, I believe, a year or two ago, and he re-signed with Carolina because he wanted to stay with his family in Carolina. So that's one thing that you have to see: is he going to want to move for a year to help out a
rookie year?
a rookie.
And now Derek Anderson, he used to play for Cleveland, right?
Yep.
Now, did he play for Cleveland when the ball was there? Or
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
I don't.
So maybe there's ties there, but we'll see. So yeah, you mentioned Matt Moore. You're talking. I'm trying to think of some other names. I mean, obviously Minnesota has a plethora of quarterbacks who are all free agents, right? Teddy Bridgewater, Case Keenum, and Sam Bradford. Now those three, probably Sam Bradford would be the best fit. I'm not sure.
I would take Bradford because I'm looking at we're going to trade up.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's coming in as a number one pick. He knows kind of what to go through, and he's went through it. And he's a really good passer.
Right.
He's just injury prone,
Mm-hmm.
but I think he's going to cost the most out of all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
He made, I believe, $14 million or so last year, so that's a high cap number. If he's going to look for something similar to that, the Bills can't pay him that.
Right.
A name that I do like that has no ties, and I like this guy ever since he came out of Missouri, Chase Daniel.
Yep. I was going to say, as soon as at Missouri, I said,
yep, I like him. Don't know if that's something that they'll go into,
right?
But he would be somebody that I would like to see them sign.
Sure. Yeah, it's for everyone out there who isn't sure that we're trading up to get a quarterback, even when we don't trade up, almost all the mock drafts I see, if we stay at 21-22, have us picking up Lamar Jackson or Mason Rudolph, right? I mean, so even if we don't trade up, we're probably still getting a quarterback. Now with those guys, it would be one of those things where probably be another year or two before they're ready to start. But even still, a guy like a Sam Bradford or a guy like a Anderson, like they can come in and they could probably make a difference and start at least for a little bit. Clem Clemens did the same thing with the Jets. No one thought he'd be the starter for most of the season, and yet if it wasn't for an injury, he would have finished out the season completely, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Not Clemens.
You're talking about McCown.
McCown, yeah.
Clemens did play in the Jets. That's why I thought you were talking a few years ago.
Right. No.
But I look at it this way. With Tyrod, you have to make up your mind. So you're either going to trade him or cut him.
Right.
And I think they're trying to trade him. They're working everything they can to get some kind of pick for him.
Sure.
Because as you can see, them signing these free agents early that don't count against their compensatory picks next year.
Right.
What it's showing you is they're trying to make sure they can get more picks next year because this year they're going to trade up and get the quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
My doubts of that happening are very low right now. I believe that they got their guy, whether the two quarterbacks that I would trade up for, Josh Rosen.
Right.
Baker Mayfield. So it's a big difference between the two of them.
Right, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
I think they're trying to trade up for Rosen, and I mean I saw different scenarios, and it would work out for him. The only thing with that is I do not like giving up. We have 2 first-round picks this year. I'm fine with giving those 2 up. Mm-hmm. Maybe a second-rounder.
Yeah, we have 2 second-rounders. So
and Cordy Glenn.
Yep.
Because all these the top 5 teams need offensive line help.
Yep.
So that's why I'm looking. Cordy Glenn would eat a lot of his cap.
Right.
But it clears out for the rest of the years, and you still have Deion Dawkins there.
And maybe since we pay so much of his cap, that would probably make it easier to trade him because other teams don't have to worry about paying him as much as we are already paying him. So when we talked about March 16th, as far as the Bills taking on that $6 million, would that help as far as trading Tyrod? Do you think?
Yeah, because then somebody only has to pay him the $10 million.
Right.
So that
18 or 16.
I could see them trying to keep him and then trade him that way to get like a 5th or 6th round pick for him.
Yeah.
But a lot of that is, too, some of these quarterbacks have to come off the board in free agency to see where they go. If what it sounds like is Cousins is going to go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he goes to Minnesota, then
the crazy contract, by the way. Yeah.
Then the next one, and he wants to take a couple visits so they could delay everything.
Sure.
So the next one would be Case Keenum.
Mm-hmm.
Where's he go? Does he go to Denver? Does he go to Arizona? If he goes to Denver, does Arizona then want to trade for Tyrod? So you get an extra pick for him. But if you're looking into that 3-day window where it's going to be a last-second thing, and maybe they do eat the $6 million bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be $8 million dead cap.
Yeah.
And like I said, getting back to before the trading up to get a quarterback, I hate giving away future first-round picks for it.
Yeah.
But if Rosen's their guy or whoever they choose is their guy, and he's going to be there for 15 years and take us through the playoffs and make some Super Bowl runs, I'm totally fine with it.
Absolutely. We've lived in mediocrity for way too long to complain about extra picks. I mean, if that's... And we know that Bean loves his draft picks. So I feel like that if he's giving up future picks for this guy, then he must really like him. So yeah, I'll trust that process a little bit. But yeah, there's some things that worry me about that whole situation. If we do not give Tyrod the extra $6 million, I feel like teams then know we're looking to trade up, and they'll ask for more from us if they know. And so I'm not sure how I feel about all that.
I believe teams already know they're trading up. So they haven't been in so-called discussions of what I've been reading and hearing, but they've been trying to figure out what it would take. Like they're just kind of hearing everything,
scoping the landscape a little bit,
trying to figure out what they're looking at.
Sure. And the thing about Tyrod is there are somewhere between 4 and 6, let's say, good quarterbacks in this draft class. Well, we just named a whole bunch of teams looking for a quarterback. Someone, and maybe it's the Bills, I don't want to think that, is going to miss out on one of these quarterbacks. It's just there's not enough quarterbacks to meet the need, and so you'll have to rely on a Chase Daniels or something of that nature.
The other thing too is, who's to say at number 2 the Giants don't take a quarterback? It seems like because they're making some trades to get some players, they're trying to win now with Eli, which I kind of expect that. So I think they're going to go Barkley too if he's there. If he's not, they're going to trade out.
Sure.
But they can take a quarterback, and that throws everybody off.
Absolutely. If it goes quarterback 1, quarterback 2, then all of a sudden it's looking. First of all, there's going to be teams throwing picks at who's 3. Indeed, the Colts. Yeah. There's going to be teams just throwing stuff at the Colts to get that number 3 spot to get their quarterback. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, because I believe once you have a quarterback, especially when they're getting older, you need to take a quarterback within a year or 2 of them retiring. Because,
absolutely.
I mean, see what New England's been doing the past few years. They take a quarterback, develop him. Brady, now he's obviously still playing, but they turn around and trade him, get something for him, and they do it each time because you never know.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in the situation where Buffalo is at.
Absolutely.
For 17 years we've been trying to figure out a quarterback.
It's been insane, and it hasn't gotten any better. So what would you think if we stay at 21-22 and we pick up a quarterback there? The money we would have to pay them is not nearly as high as it would be if we went top 5. So if we bring in Lamar Jackson, how would you feel if then we keep Tyrod? Because again, Lamar Jackson would need at least a year. Yeah. So you would think we'd keep Tyrod at that point.
To me, they're both very similar.
Right.
Their skill sets.
Completely agree. Yeah. Completely agree.
They're both inaccurate. They can make plays with their feet. Like, I'm not sold on Lamar Miller. To me, I'm
Lamar Jackson.
Or Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
sorry,
that's fine.
If we're sitting at 21-22 and we had to take a quarterback at that position, I'd like Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to be the one there. I think Allen, Darnold, Mayfield, and Rosen, they're all going to go way before the 21.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and then as far as our last show with the quarterbacks, I'll leave a link to it in this one. But yeah, I ranked Mason Rudolph a lot higher than Lamar Jackson. I think you did as well. So yeah, I think Mason Rudolph is someone who would be there, and that we can get. But again, I still believe Mason Rudolph would need another year or something to watch a veteran guy. But again, if we bring in one of these veteran guys, like you mentioned before,
now with going back to Lamar Jackson,
mm-hmm.
he does have some experience in our offensive system, so that's something we got to watch out for. Yeah. So maybe he can come in right away, but
mm-hmm.
to me at the combine, he kind of looked a little out of whack.
Skittish, a little bit. Yeah, absolutely, so. Absolutely. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't like the idea of having Tyrod there. But in all honesty, even though Tyrod Taylor, I don't believe is worth $18 million on a quarterback compared to what quarterbacks are making now isn't that bad. And
if he's your starter and you believe in him,
right?
That's the problem with me. Like Tyrod, I don't believe he's worth $18 million.
Right. No.
He's in a situation where he can get $18 million, so he takes it like any other player. They try to get whatever they can, and
absolutely,
you know, more power to them. That's what they should do.
Right. It's a business, so.
But I just feel, for me to keep him at $18 million, it's so hard when you see some of these other quarterbacks out here where you can get for $2-3 million.
Right.
And they, to me, are the same as Tyrod.
Sure. And if we draft a pocket passer, I would be very scared to have them learning under the tutelage of Tyrod Taylor, who is not a pocket passer. That would scare me a little bit because I feel like that would maybe make them degress a little bit. Like a Mason Rudolph is not the biggest scrambler in the world. He has very limited mobility. So I want him learning under someone who's a good pocket who can win games from a pocket.
Yeah. Well, and we touched on a couple other episodes of. Yeah. I believe you have to win from the pocket. If you're a quarterback, you have to be able to win from the pocket.
Absolutely.
Now, if you can get out and move around, that is a bonus, and it's a very big positive.
Absolutely.
But you have to be able to win from the pocket, and I think that's where Tyrod just lacks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it's time to move on. Get your fresh face in there. Get your franchise quarterback. Do what you got to do to get him, and go. And bring in a veteran quarterback that would know your system.
Yeah.
And can help him out. I think that's the best route the Bills can go because we're not too far off right now. We do have a lot of holes.
Yeah.
But they're filling them. And you know, each year you're going to have to replace players.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I think we're moving in the right direction. You have your quarterback. You have McCoy for the next 2 years.
Yep.
You can lean on him a little more. I mean, we've been leaning on him the past 3 years or so.
Absolutely.
So you lean on him, get your quarterback settled, and then 2-3 years from now, maybe you have a star.
Yeah. And that's the thing about McCoy is we talked about before. Like he doesn't take those big hits. So some people are worried about him being 30. Well, yeah, but his elusiveness gets him away from a lot of those dangerous situations. So I think we do have 1 or 2 more years where we can lean on him heavily. And one thing we have to remember is the reason why Tyrod came in, why Rex brought him in, is because Rex wanted his guy. E.J. Manuel was not his guy. Well, now we have the same situation with McDermott coming in. Tyrod Taylor is not McDermott's guy. He's another coach's guy. And so I think McDermott and Bean will want to get their quarterback of the future because this is their time. I mean, we love what McDermott and Bean did for us in the first year. I mean, and if they can improve on that with a new quarterback, obviously that's what we want as fans. So
I think McDermott thought maybe last year he could work with Tyrod, and obviously they made it to the playoffs. But you could see during the season that it was kind of wearing thin, that there wasn't much there. The offense wasn't doing much, and you know, you're putting your defense in bad situations. And the playoff game, we let up one drive.
Yeah.
And they scored a touchdown, and that was Jacksonville the game. One drive, when you let up one drive, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah, and especially in today's NFL, it's not defensive favored. And yeah, if you had told me going into that game the Bills were giving up 10 points, I'm like, well, then we have to win that game.
Yeah.
I feel like any team that only gives up 10 points in a playoff game should win that game all the time, right? And you know, you think about how they gave us a touchdown and we still didn't score. You know, we were lined up for a field goal. And they jump off sides, right? So now we have 1st and goal from the 2-yard line or whatever it was. And what happens? Offensive pass interference because Tyrod threw a ball he should have never thrown. And yeah, you can blame Benjamin for he's so pushed off, right? So you can't blame that on Tyrod. But then nothing happens. We kick a field goal, and that's that. That's our scoring for the whole game. Yeah. So
the other thing to get back to with Tyrod is with the receiving core, it doesn't fit his style. His style is to kind of run around and make it like a deeper throw with receivers running more open. Yeah. The Bills' receivers now are all big body guys. Yeah. Or I shouldn't say they're slower, but they're more possession receivers. Well, yeah. They're not going to get the big separation.
Right, absolutely.
Tyrod doesn't force the ball in, or he doesn't have the anticipation to throw them open. He has to see them open before he throws it. And that's where the pocket passer comes in that can anticipate that, get them the ball, and then our receivers look a lot better than what they are.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's true because you think back when we had Goodwin and when we had Sammy Watkins,
and Robert Woods.
Some of Tyrod's best throws were those deep balls to Goodwin. I'm thinking about one on a game against the Jets a couple years ago. It was like a 70, 80-yard bomb to Goodwin because he just burned Revis right off the line. Just beautiful arcing throws like that. But yeah, the wide receivers we have can't get that separation all the time. And yeah, Tyrod loves to throw that long ball, and he's really good at it. That's one of his strengths, absolutely. So, but yeah, I'll say it. I feel like we need to move on from Tyrod Taylor. You feel the same way. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add.
Well, when you look at everybody was saying he never had anybody around him, and we just named you had Sammy.
Yep.
You had Robert Woods. And you had Marcus Goodwin. Look what they have done on the other teams. Exactly. Robert Woods last year tore it up.
Yeah.
He was better than Sammy.
Absolutely.
In LA.
And Sammy had 8 touchdowns or something like that, right? So he's a threat. And then we talked. Marcus Goodwin just signed a new contract. Yeah. So
he had a heck of a end of the year last year. So there was weapons around him. Yeah. It just he's just not the bona fide NFL quarterback. Right. As a backup, yes, I would take him. Yeah. $3 to $4, $5 million. Sure. Okay. Right. $18 million. No.
Not a chance. Yeah. No. So I think we're all in agreement there between the two of us. Obviously, a lot of you will not agree with us. A lot of people like Tyrod, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, to say that he led us to the playoffs would be a bit of a stretch for me. Yeah. But he was our quarterback when the drought ended, so we do have to give him credit for that. And ever rotating pieces on the Bills' offense too. He couldn't get comfortable even with his offensive coordinator. So yeah, I don't think. I have no ill will towards Tyrod Taylor. I'm not mad at him. I think he did the best he could for who he is, and so that's where we're at with that. But yeah, I'm good with moving on from Tyrod Taylor.
I'm ready.
We're ready to move on. Get Sean McDermott and Sky in there, and let's see what we can do. But that's it for this episode. Again, unless you have anything else you wanted to add, that's it. So that's what we're looking for is the Buffalo Bills to move on from Tyrod Taylor. Let us know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Tell us why. And if you want more content of the Buffalo Bills, we'll do some league content. We will be doing a draft show with Bills draft picks and things of that nature. So we look forward to those. But if you want that, please subscribe, like or dislike this video, and leave a comment below. Until next time.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.